his teachers like,
now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. Tuesday, May 4th. Year cruising. We got a new quarterback in town. Boy named Justin Fields out of Ohio State. You already know what it is.
Black man.
Yes. Justin Fields. This is the first time we're on the mic since Justin Fields got drafted. We're going to break that down. Obviously, we got a lot to say about that. We're going to wrap up some other NFL draft stuff. Who's a guy that we want to see play on Sundays that maybe he's not being talked about, or that's not named Trevor Lawrence? Like, who else am I hyped up to see? We're going to break that down. Before we get to Russell Westbrook, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers. Look, the day the Bears get a franchise quarterback, the same day it's a possibility that the Green Bay Packers ace may be doing his thing somewhere else or retired and then do it later. We're going to talk about if Aaron Rodgers is gone for good in Green Bay, done and dusted there. Then we'll close it out. NBA, Russell Westbrook has averaged a triple-double in 4 of his last 5 seasons. Do you understand how crazy that even sounds to say?
Yep.
We're going to talk about that. Scotty Brooks said he's the second best point guard behind Magic of all time. Big Nick the Quick didn't appreciate that. We're going to break that down. We got a lot of things to talk about. Big Nick the Quick, what's happening?
Man, what's the business? What's going on?
You already know. First Take Tuesday, man. Let's just get up, start chopping it. What's the word?
What a weekend, man. You know, I had first off, the Bears come away with Justin Fields. On a gambling note, we'll talk about that real quick.
Oh, dude, the Derby? You hit the Derby horse?
I hit the Derby and I hit the draft. So, you know, I've taken I want to say, man, like a 7-month hiatus since I've even looked at a line, let alone placed a bet. But I had some money I had to burn through one of my apps that I rediscovered. So it was one of those stupid ass rollover bonuses.
Money all over the place.
Yeah, it was one of those dumb rollover bonuses, but it was like a 10x rollover, so I have to run through this money like crazy.
Right.
So I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and the Trey Lance. So the first one I took was Trey Lance plus 200, and all the talk was heating up. You know, what we talked about it last week. This 49ers pick. What are they gonna do? I had an inkling that it was going to be Lance because the talk really heated up after Lance's pro day. That's when it really started to be like, oh, they might not take Mac Jones. And I just didn't think all that was going to be for Fields. Right. And then on the day of the draft, McShay puts out his last mock draft. I think the night before I had hit y'all like, yo, Lance plus 260. I kind of like that, right? Yeah. I was going to cool on it for a little bit. Day of the draft, McShay puts out his mock draft, has Lance at number 3. That was kind of all I needed to see because I really felt like he was working off some intel. So I took it at plus 200.
Yeah.
An hour later, it flips to minus 180, which at that point you already know, right? Like nothing moves like that unless it's rock solid. Yo, this is happening, right?
Yeah. Usually.
So I felt great, right? So obviously that hit when they took him 3rd. Man, good luck to him. I hope everything works out. Yeah. Then the next day, Saturday, or 2 days later, Saturday, you know, watching the Derby, I had a few. You know, I was feeling good. My guy was over. And right before the Derby starts, he goes, yo, you should take Medina Spirit. I was like, fuck it, man. It was a 10-1. Didn't put a ton of cash on it. But I mean, hey, 10-1, really anything you put on, it's gonna end up paying off more than you thought. So ended up hitting that. Called you. He led the Derby from the beginning.
Yo,
you know I mean, it was a no doubter. And I'm watching. I'm like, yo, wait, hold on. You know,
Doug, this is the thing, bro. I'm not locked into horse racing at all.
No.
But after the race, it's a Bob Baffert horse.
The jockey's won.
The jockey won last year.
Yeah, he's won like 4 times, right?
Yeah, the jockey won last year. After the race, I'm like, gee, why wasn't everybody on this dude?
Yeah,
like, what's going on?
Why wasn't this 10-1? It was like, almost like, yeah, he should have won, right? Like, yeah,
And this guy, Medina, this horse came out the gate, bro, full go. And I'm waiting for this man to fade. Mm-hmm. Like, he has to fade. There's no way he's going to go tape to tape. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Right.
It got down the stretch. It got down the final turn, and he just kicked it out the whole way. Didn't waver at all. That's the type of horse. I love to see that. That was awesome.
And afterwards, he said he only played a couple grand for the horse. So like this was a horse that just got there accidentally, essentially, right?
Yo, so
like,
the horse was part of a divorce.
Yeah.
She sold it for a G. Someone else
was that what it was? It was a G.
Sold it for a G. Then someone bought it for 35. I think the guy that has it now, that Baffert and them won the Derby with, he bought it for 35.
Yeah, and he's gonna make hundreds of thousands of dollars studding it out.
Oh, millions.
Yeah,
probably.
millions. Yeah, right. Not to mention the horses the races that it's going to continue to do. So, after you hit that, you hit the plus 200, which is always great, but then you hit a 10-1. Your weekend nothing can go wrong at that point in time.
No, the weekend was
great. Thursday started off great.
Kicked off great.
Weather, I'll talk about the weather. It was fantastic, man. Whole weekend just kicking it. Had the draft, had some good sports.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man, it was beautiful, man. But I made my return that way. I think I still got to look. So, amazingly, I still have to burn through some of this money. So I'll be back. I'll be back. One more bet, and then I can cash this out.
There you go.
So yeah,
that's
we'll
how
go.
they get
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Hey,
but the way I see it is it's house money. It's all their money, so it doesn't matter to me. But I want it.
Everybody listening, if you get a promo code on one of these sports books, FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever it is, Bovada, Rivers, make sure you know how many wagers you need to place that you can then cash that money out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's one wager. That's what you want. Like they give you a $50 bonus. If you play that 50 and hit, you can cash it out. Some people, you got to do all types of shit to try to get the promo on.
And all types of shit. You can only put it on certain stuff. So yeah, definitely. Look, these are casinos, sports books, Vegas. Like they're not in business for 100 years giving away money, right? Like all that shit has a hook attached to it.
Find out the playthrough. How many times you got to play through? That's
some are better than others. So yeah, I think I got one more big bet I got to make. So the next thing that pops up, I'll take it. Cash out. That you might never see me. You might never see me in the sports book ever again. But yeah, so we can start off that way, man. And obviously, it was all gravy from there, man. So I think we got a lot to talk about today. Obviously, I do got two first takes though. Are we
okay? Yeah.
I got two first takes. Now that draft season is over, first take. No bigger cappers. No bigger form of cap. Right? No, nothing bigger on the cap scale than draft gurus and draft analysts talking about the weeks leading up to the draft, even the post-draft analysis.
It's the biggest cap.
It's just cap. There's no way, right? There's no way you were watching all this film on all these people, right? Especially something like McShay, Kiper. Okay, that's all you're there for. I get it, right? Like you probably watch a great deal of film. When you start getting out to some of your like regular run-of-the-mill analysts that all of a sudden feel great about a third round, guard from Kentucky, it's like, look, man, stop the cat. You haven't watched all this. You're just aggregating a whole bunch of other draft stuff that you've read and making it your own opinion, right? And even on some of these experts, it's like, what makes you an expert, right? Like, so what I propose is for these Kipers. I got a solution for these Kipers, for these McShays, for these Warren Sharps and all these people who seem to know so much. Why don't we, people in general, somebody,
so we got to get them in the front office,
develop a scoring, even better, develop a scoring system, right? That goes on like a 3-year running scoring system, right? Because I really think it takes about 3 years to know whether or not a draft's going to be good, right? As far as guys reaching their potential, getting comfortable, if there's coaching turnover, quarterbacks need time to play. Yeah, go ahead and whatever it is, wherever you grade that guy prior to the draft, and then, however he performs based on, we'll use like PFF. Everybody likes PFF, Pro Football Focus. Shout out them. They do a good job of ranking players. Match that up through some numerical equation that I can't figure out, but I'm sure you can find people to do it, right? Yeah. And at the end of that you have a 3-year running grade as an analyst. If you're not hitting on a good percentage of your picks or they're not becoming contributing members of football teams, I no longer need to hear about you give draft grades, analyze the draft, and talk about who people should pick. Because you could look at Kiper. I don't know who Kiper said was good 3 years ago. All I know is every year you trot his ass out, and I'm supposed to pretend like he knows what he's talking about. He very well may, right? But like, as far as how these guys are going to do, I get like a lot of what they do. Kiper and McShay is telling you where guys are going to get drafted. They're just collecting intel.
Hold on.
I got Schefter for that.
Isn't that part of the hoopla though? Isn't that part of the what's the word I'm looking for?
The intel?
The pageantry. That's the word I'm looking for. Isn't that part of the pageantry where you run up this dude, Mel Kiper, who's been there for 25 years, and he's got that goofy ass hair, and he just comes up there and just starts yelling in his voice? Isn't that part of like the whole experience?
Yeah, no, of course I
Like,
get it, but what I'm saying is
this kid's that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
If that's the case, then just get like Chris Berman and people like that all the time. Like if it's all about the show,
so we should just get comedians.
Yeah, just get comedians. if you're trying to put on, but like for me, who wants to know good information, I want to know about these picks because A, I don't watch college football, and B, if I do, I damn sure we talked about this before. I can't watch it with an evaluator's eye. You know, if a guy looks good to me, he looks good. I don't know about his measurables and all that, and how he stacks up and what situation he's going to play in, but you do. So if you're making these picks every year and they're on wax, why can't we keep you running on a grading scale and you have to perform to a certain level like everybody else does?
Draft analysts, biggest
draft analysts, biggest.
They worse than the weatherman.
The worse than the weather. Yeah, essentially, it's the ESPN weatherman is the draft analyst because they're telling you about some 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid and how he's going to project.
And it's a good gig because there's essentially no penalty for being wrong.
Penalty for being wrong.
Can say whatever, right?
Even the day-to-day analysts, they run the tape back, right? Like if Marcus Spears gets on there and says some crazy shit, they can run the tape back and be like, "Yo, you said some crazy shit." I don't see McShay and Kuiper's tape getting ran back. But I see them boys employed every year. There's no way they're that good because if they're that good, they would be running the fucking Bengals or something right now, right? So like, I need to know. I need the Carfax on your draft pick.
The Carfax.
How they turn out after 3 or 4 years. You determine what percentage of them should be contributing members of society, right? If it's 60% of guys, 50%, whatever that number is. Again, this can all be figured out through analytics. But I need to know who I should trust come draft time because I think a lot of it is cap. I think a lot of it is cap. I think a lot of it is reading scouts reports and saying, "Oh yeah, I like this guy." You might never even watch this film. Like, yo, come on, man. Like, yeah, it's a lot of cap.
I feel you.
That's my point.
You say you got another first take?
Other first take is look, draft presentation for ESPN this weekend. I've come to a conclusion. Greeny should just host everything on the network.
Yo, he is phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he is really good, dog.
I don't know why they had him locked on Mike and Mike for 20 years doing nothing because this guy should have been your marquee number one outside of Stephen A. Shout out Stephen A. Smith, but he's color. Greeny should just host everything. Host the NBA Finals. Host the draft. Host the NBA draft. Host this. Host tennis. Host Wimbledon. Host the Masters. Like, this guy is phenomenal.
Yeah,
he's just great. And I think, like, you see it on Get Up. And, you know, again, they've done a great job with that show. You and I both watch it. Like, I thought it'd be corny. They figured it out. Like, he's just great. Having him host the draft was a pleasure. It made it so much better to watch. He's just a grade A, rock solid host. And ESPN, it seems like they're starting to realize that, too. He gave him his radio show and all that. But, like, yeah, Greeny should be hosting everything on that network. Like, shout out Greenberg.
Shout out Greenberg.
Northwestern guy. Yeah. Go Cats. But, I think he just did a great job. So,
say less. I agree. Shout out Greeny. All right, let's get into the main event. The main course, the steak and potatoes.
Yes, sir.
Justin Fields is a Chicago Bear. The kid seems to have it all. Everything I've heard him say, I've heard him on the radio. I've seen him on video. I've seen his demeanor around everyone.
You've also seen the most important thing.
Mentally, he seems to be there.
The film.
The film is there. I can't believe we pulled the trigger to go. Well, I can believe we pulled the trigger to go get him. And listen, and I'm going to tell you this right now off top. I'm not giving Pace any credit for shit. Mm-mm. He's out here throwing Hail Marys because he's completely on the ropes. Nagy's on the ropes. They know it. So they went and dumped everything they could to move up to get the guy that they needed that shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
Right.
Denver skipped. Even Minnesota was thinking about moving up a little higher. They didn't do anything, but a lot of squads skipped.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yes, for us to get a shot at Justin Fields, and Pace went and got him, right? But I'm not giving a dude any credit for putting us in a hole and then literally mortgaging and doing everything he physically can to go get Justin Fields and then a left tackle in Tevin. So
making the most logical moves on the board.
Yes. Am I happy that they're here? Very.
Yeah.
I'm not showing Pace any love. In a perfect world for me, without getting too ahead of myself, we're bad. Fields plays all 17, and Nagy and Pace are gone, and we refresh the whole thing. So we'll see what happens. But what was your initial thought, Fields? You see, they move up.
Yep,
it has to be for Fields.
Had to be. If they'd have moved up and it would have said Mac Jones, I would have just fallen out.
Right. So that's where we were at. I was shocked. Just going into the evening, there was just no way we were going to be able to do anything like that. You want to talk about, I was hopeless to being excited about the season.
So I wasn't. So yeah, I first off, I agree with everything you said on Pace as far as it was the obvious move, right? The obvious move was once Fields was available in that double-digit pick, right? Meaning that you could realistically move up to get him and you had the capital to go ahead and do so. You had to do it, right? Especially when it's a desperation move and you don't really care about those future picks because there's a 75, 80% chance you're not going to be there to see them, right? So I think once that was there, you had to make that move. And then when it came to Tevin Jenkins, I almost called him Tevin Campbell. When it came to Tevin Jenkins, I mean, he had a first round grade and he was available in the second round and you needed offensive line help. So to me, that was also a no-brainer, right? So you pick two big positions of need, two big positions that complement each other, two big positions that make sense. You're not going to get a lot of credit for making the obvious move. You did your job, right? With that being said, man, when I saw that we made that trade and we moved up and Justin Fields was still on the board, and I think who was picking at 10? Was that when Philly had traded up? So we knew that they weren't going to take a quarterback because they had taken Devontae. I knew it was for Fields. I was like, there's no way they're going to take Mac Jones, right? And there's no way you moved up to take anybody that wasn't a quarterback because you're just not in a position to give up that much unless it's to get that position. So when they went ahead and they made that move and then they said Justin Fields, man, I went absolutely crazy. This is the move that we needed to make. This is the type of quarterback that we've never had before and that we need to go out and get. Completely different situation than when we drafted Trubisky, right? Which is why I'm kind of surprised at some of the analysts on this pick. Like, is he ready? Is he ready? Yo, Mitch Trubisky played like 11 or 12 games at North Carolina. This guy started 2 seasons at The Ohio State University, right? Like, he has played in big games. He has played against big-time defenses, and he's delivered in huge spots. So I think, like, as far as the readiness goes, like, I don't know where a lot of that is coming from because all I've seen is him perform. And we talked about that last week before we even picked him. I thought that a lot of the criticism that was coming his way, especially when you're out here drafting quarterbacks from BYU and North Dakota State, like, I don't really know why this kid's getting knocked for his experience. Yeah. So that's neither here nor there. But, you know, to your point, as far as like, hey, a perfect scenario would be that they lose a bunch of games. Normally, I'd be like, yeah, if we had a first-round draft pick next year. But because losing a bunch of games isn't really going to do anything for us, I get we don't want Nagy and Pace around. And if we win 9 or 10 games, they're probably going to keep their job. But at the same time, the best move for the Bears would be put Fields in right now, have him learn and develop, and win some ball games. Because honestly, outside of losing those guys, there's no advantage to us losing any ball games. So I'd rather see it work, right? Like, as much as I don't like this regime, I'd rather see it work because I just don't want to waste a year of Justin Fields caught up in some bullshit. Like, let's just go for smooth sailing with this, right? Like, we have seen our quarterbacks in some bullshit. We had Mitch Trubisky, who had a coach that was in a lame duck year when he was drafted. And I just feel like just get it off to a right foot with the head coach that's going to be his head coach. Maybe it'll be different with this guy. I don't think so, right? I don't trust those boys. But at the same time, man, I don't want to waste a year of Justin Fields on some bullshit.
Yo, there's no way we could get out of this Andy Dalton situation. We can't call the lawyers up.
No, I don't think so, man.
Some shit, bro.
No, the Red Rockets already got his. They probably gave him $10 million at signing, so that money's probably already in his account.
We can't void this shit out or something.
The real question is, what do we do with Foles? You know what? I'm actually fine. I'm actually fine having Andy Dalton just be the backup or whatever he's gonna do. Just have him do that. I think he's probably a good dude, and you know, whatever he can, he's a better player than Foles in my opinion. So worst case scenario, if we do have to trot him out there, what I saw from Nick Foles last year was some of the worst quarterbacking I've ever seen. So I just never want to see him play again. We talked about this last year. I never want to see Nick Foles play again. So if Fields gets hurt or, you know, he does suck or whatever, I guess, I don't know. I'd rather see Andy Dalton out there. So get rid of Nick Foles. But regardless, Justin Fields should be your starter. I don't. It's not like
that's my next question. Yeah. I was gonna say I can't imagine being an owner and looking at these bums on the bench and I'm paying them $20+ million. I would be so sick.
Yeah, get rid of one of them.
Yeah, somebody figure something out. I don't know, but
I heard someone say
not gonna happen. But
someone was like, well, what you could do is start with Fields, and if he doesn't play well, you bench him and put Dalton in.
What?
I hate that idea.
Who are these people?
That's how you destroy your quarterback's confidence.
Who said that?
It was on. I think it was either Get Up yesterday or NFL Network.
Stop.
I'm like, that's not. If you're gonna do that, do the opposite. Start with Dalton and then put Foles in. You never start with the rookie and then bench him halfway through the season because his confidence is gone at that point. So you need to make a decision, and realistically, you got to stick with that. If you decide to start him, you start him for the whole year. This is the 11th pick of the draft.
But you're on starting week 1.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't understand. Where are you with this football team to where you think you need to necessarily start the more experienced quarterback? Unless if we had drafted Trey Lance, I'd be like, yeah, that guy has zero experience, right? Like he probably could benefit from sitting for a year. I just don't know where the narrative went from Justin Fields as the number 2 quarterback in this draft to Justin Fields needs to sit for a year, but let's start Zach Wilson in New York. Like I just don't understand.
Cody made a good point. He'd be like, that would be like the Tua situation in Miami where Tua started and then Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it was bad. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. Like if this is your guy, it has to be your guy through ups and downs, and you really need to see how he's going to play and how he handles adversity.
Listen, bruh, run him out there week 1 from the start. In my opinion, I understand the offensive line is a major question mark. Did we pick up a really good one in Tevin Jenkins, but he's a rookie. So say what you want. We just lost a vet in Leno. So the offensive line is still an issue, but there's ways to protect him when the line is really bad. I want reps. Remember we were talking about reps? Remember that Trubisky shit where he wasn't giving him reps because what was his excuse?
He wanted him to watch from the sideline, right?
Yeah, or some ridiculous shit like, oh, Trubisky's not getting reps because, I don't think extra reps matter. Nagy said some goofy shit like that. Get him reps in pro games that matter where people are going to be in his ass, in his face, and let him figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't care if he throws 25 interceptions in the first 6 games of the year. You let him finish it, you let him play, and then you start him the next year. And then if he's ass after that, then we can have another conversation. But I don't see any reason on not wasting a year for no reason.
And I thought the narrative on that
go ahead. No,
I was going to say, I thought the narrative on that had changed too. Like, I thought that, like, as far you want to throw these guys out there, right? And like people say, like, oh, Mahomes and Smith. Alex Smith was coming off a career year and was a much better quarterback than Andy Dalton. Plus, that team was in a completely different position than we are in right now, right? Like, that team had pieces. And again, Smith, it's a completely different situation for me as far as what we're in right now. Like, he wasn't it's just different.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we're in this new thing where it's like, oh, well, this guy needs to sit for a year so he can learn. Like, he's played big time college football. 2 years in the Big Ten. 2 years in the Big Ten, and the 2 years before that, he was practicing against SEC defenses. So again, I don't really understand why all of a sudden it's like, hey, Justin Fields, he needs to get some mental reps. It's like, no, this dude needs physical reps on the football field. To me, he's ready. I don't understand where this is coming from. Like that's a shock to me. If you draft him and you moved up to get him, you need to see what he's going to do this year. Plus, if I'm pacing Nagy, man, you need to put him out there. If he does well or he starts to make moves, if you're Matt Nagy, you can go in there and be like, look, I'm starting to build something with this guy. If you don't start him till week 8, knowing that he's going to have some lumps, right? That's only a few games where you can really point to your progress. So if you're desperate enough to move up and get him, man, put him out there from week 1. You don't owe shit to Andy Dalton, but a paycheck, and he'll get that regardless. That's it. Yeah, I'm sorry you promised him to be the starter. Yeah, you promised him to be the starter when the other quarterback on the roster was Nick Foles. There was no Justin Fields. Now that Justin Fields is here, things change. And if Andy Dalton wants to bitch and pout about it, well then, okay, yeah, maybe there is a way we can get out that contract, man. Forego. Retire. I don't know. You don't want to play here anymore? That's fine. We'll figure out a way to not pay you. But Andy Dalton's going to soldier up and do his job. Justin Fields should be the starter for this team from week 1. Have him take those number 1 reps in training camp. Have him take the number 1 reps in rookie camp and mini camp. in preseason, and then when it comes to week 1, he should be your quarterback, and you go from there.
Now let me ask you
Start this right now. No bridge.
Now let me ask you this, because we agree on that. I tweeted right away, I need Fields all 17 from day one. What do you think they're going to do? Because they've come out with the reports that, Dalton's the starter, all that fucking bullshit nonsense.
I really feel like they're saying that right now. I feel like they're saying that right now. I think these guys' backs are against the wall, and the thing that it's all about self-preservation. And the thing that gives you the best shot at keeping your job is putting Justin Fields out there and having him succeed. Andy Dalton, if he plays well, you win 8 games, 9 games, you're getting fired. You're getting fired. Justin Fields plays well and you win 7 or 8 games, you might be able to keep your job, especially Nagy, who's going to decide who's going to be playing or not. If you have good rapport with Fields and it looks like it's working and you're having success and you're developing him, because again, Nagy's the one who moved up to make this pick, right? Louis Riddick told us that, and he's very plugged in with Nagy. If you don't know, that's his guy. That's why he's always talking about the Bears. If Riddick's reporting it, it's coming from Matt Nagy.
Yes, that's a fact.
So yeah. So when he's talking about this has Nagy's handprints all over it, if you're Nagy, you're like, yo, yeah, this dude needs to play. I'm going to play him because I trust in my ability. You can't point to your work with Andy Dalton as something that's going to be able to save your job because he's been in the league forever and he's not going to make you that much better. If you get Fields to come out there and you're building progress, and again, it feels like you guys have a good rapport and all those things that you couldn't do with Mitch, that you just felt that he, for whatever reason, you couldn't get through to him, but you've been saying if you just gave me a guy who understood what I'm trying to do, and that guy happens to be Justin Fields, man, you're here. Because then you can point to your record. Then you can point to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Then you can point to the NFC head coach of the year, right? It's like, yo, all this stuff, plus you finally gave me a guy who can handle my curriculum. So we're winning. And I don't think it matters what your record is. I mean, you can't go 3-13, but if you put together a convincing 8-8, right? Knowing that the best quarterback in the fucking division is about to be on his way out, and the division could be up for grabs with you all of a sudden having the best quarterback situation in the NFC North, because we know Cousins is a wash. We know Jared Goff is a bum, and Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be here. And they're talking about the Packers might end up having to get another quarterback because the guy they drafted last year apparently isn't ready. So all these things could line up to you keeping your job, but the number one thing that starts that, the catalyst, is starting Justin Fields. Justin Fields, day one starter. You can say what you got to right now. Just have a couple practices and then come out and say, oh, you know what? Ooh. And that way Andy Dalton's not mad.
Yo, and hopefully he gets to camp and is just blowing motherfuckers' doors off.
And it's easy.
So it's like, yo, this dude it's no discussion on what's
going on. And Dalton's sitting there like, okay, it makes sense. So I get why
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's that situation in Green Bay with Jordan Love is very interesting, that he wasn't active all year.
Yeah.
Didn't dress.
And he's not ready.
So, I mean, that was alarming to me that he didn't dress.
Yeah.
He wasn't active.
We don't feel confident enough to put you into a football game at all.
I understand you don't want him to play at all, but you don't want him to play at all even if Rodgers is out for the, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, when's he going to be ready would be my thing. It's like, they said he only threw 20 passes or 50 passes in training camp.
Yeah, that's so odd. I don't
50
understand.
passes in training camp. What was he doing?
Yeah.
What was he kicking? Like, what was he doing?
Oh, man, maybe Aaron was making that shit really uncomfortable.
No, you still run your practice.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but
guy's not getting any reps is because he's not worth them to give the reps to.
Yeah, no, that's confirmed.
It's like it's a waste of time to give him reps. So we're not going to give him reps because you only have so much time and so many reps to give.
Justin Fields is in Chicago. I was all out. I swear to you on my life, I wasn't going to watch any of the games. I wasn't talking about those boys. This was the only move they could have made to get me back to even show love to an organization that hasn't shown the fans any love, period, point blank. So welcome Justin Fields, Tevin, and the rest of the boys. You want to talk some let's talk.
Go
ahead.
Real quick though, and also I just wanted to say, for everybody talking about the picks and all that we gave up, listen, man, if it works out, you will not be thinking about any of those draft picks. A good quarterback masks so much for you, And
Are
there'd be
people
so
worried
much
about the picks?
There's people, oh, we gave up a lot. We mortgaged our future. It's like, first off, this is Ryan Pace's MO. He doesn't care about draft picks. He trades them away for whatever he wants that day. But number one, right? That's number one. If Fields is performing, you won't be thinking about those picks because a rookie quarterback is able to mask a lot of that. And the optimism that we'll have with Justin Fields, it's not going to matter. Second of all, if he's good, you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, right? So you're allowed to take some of those assets and some of those resources, some of that money, and spend it because you have 5 years where this guy is kind of on a price control, right? And you're not spending $40 million a year on him. So you can throw money in some other places, some of those things you might have to make up for by lack of draft picks. So I don't want to hear about the picks that we gave up, because if he's a stud, as long as those first 2 picks hit, as long as him and Jenkins are good, you will not worry. Quarterback and left tackle. Go back through the pod. I tell you the most important positions in the league.
And
Quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher, corner. Get those 4 and move on. Linemen in general. Build out from the line and get a quarterback, man. I don't want to hear anything. I don't care about receivers. I don't care about running backs. I don't care about any of that. Tom Brady showed you. Keep me upright. I'll throw the ball to anybody.
Indianapolis.
All of them.
They do it.
Line. Get me the line. Get me the line. And get me a quarterback. That's it. What are we talking about here? And rush the fucking passer. Checkmate.
Salute Justin Fields. Welcome, bro. I know Big Nick the Quick wanted to go over a couple dudes that he was looking forward. Who else in the draft class, 2021 draft class, everybody listening, who are you looking forward to watching play ball in this coming NFL season? Nick, I'll start. Without a doubt, it is Zach Wilson.
Wow, okay.
I need to see this because from my eyeballs, he looked really good. He was always in a clean pocket. He was never under duress. They were playing in the Mountain West, South Missouri, Mountain Hill Conference, whatever that is. I think it's just the Mountain West, but whatever. But either way, bro, for him to be a surefire number 2 pick after Trevor Lawrence, no questions asked. No one's asking any questions. It's a done deal, signed, sealed, delivered. I don't want to hear about Trey Lance. I don't want to hear about Justin Fields. I don't want to hear about Jamar Chase. I don't want to hear about the Heisman winner. Zach Wilson is the number 2 player going off the board. Pure point blank done. I cannot wait to see this boy play.
Need to see it.
I cannot wait to see this boy play.
Damn sure didn't see him play in college.
Dog, I cannot wait to see this boy play in New York. I need to see how big he is, because I don't care what the measurements have him at 6'3" or something of that sort, like 220. I'll see none of that. I cannot wait to see Zach Wilson. And and I'm going to keep it 100. Something about the whole situation kind of rubs me the wrong way, because guys like Fields and all these other dudes that are wildly accomplished.
Really Fields.
Like, just literally don't even bring them up in the same sentence as Zach Wilson. Are you nuts? Have you seen Zach Wilson's arm talent? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? I cannot wait to see Bill Belichick versus Zach Wilson. And I need to see, like, I just can't wait. I'm ready to see Zach Wilson play every week, because from what everyone said, this guy was a lock at 2. The Jets are probably in a similar dire situation as the Chicago Bears, where they never win, they never do anything. They're a farce. The ownership in the Johnsons is a bunch of gas. They don't care either. And
they gave you that weak ass vaccine. And
no, but for real,
no, I'm bullshit.
No questions asked. Zach Wilson's the number 2 quarterback coming off the board, and I don't want to hear any questions about it. So that's who I'm looking forward to seeing.
I love that.
Zach Wilson. I need to see this boy live on Sunday.
Hey, save this tape, everybody. Let's run that back. And was it 3 years? We'll give Sean a 3-year runner on that Zach Wilson analysis right there. Where is he going to be?
Yeah.
And that's not us pulling against Zach Wilson, but I 100% agree. I have no idea where he came from. And now all of a sudden, where, again, the last 2 years, you've been telling me Justin Fields is QB number 2. All of a sudden, all of a sudden Zach Wilson shows up and it's a foregone conclusion that the Jets are taking him. So,
foregone conclusion.
Hey, he's gonna be playing in New York, so we'll hear all about it. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that. My first guy that I'm gonna say, look, man, I told you 2 months ago, I told you a month ago, I told you 2 weeks ago, I told you a week ago. There's one guy I really need to see. There's one guy I want to see. I love the situation that he went to. I love that he's going to an experienced quarterback. I love that he's going to a new head coach in Arthur Smith. That we've seen run some good offenses out there in Tennessee that utilize some of this ground and pound stuff. That I think this guy, as a receiving tight end, is going to revolutionize the position. We've been headed towards this way. It's Kyle Pitts. It's Kyle Pitts, man. I just want to see this guy play football at the NFL level. We've been looking for these George Kittle, Travis Kelce types. I think he's beyond that. If you look at some of the film, they were showing this guy matching up with cornerbacks, safeties, linebackers, and it was the result, same result each time. Nobody could handle him. 12 touchdowns last year at Florida, ran a 4.4. All the measurables are obviously there, and the film looked great too. I just feel like you put him with Matt Ryan. Again, you say what you want to about Matt Ryan. He knows how to play football, right? He's a former league MVP. He can fling the rock. I think you put him with a guy like Pitts, it's going to be a problem.
Hey, I have never in my life seen a prospect get zero slander.
Zero.
I'm talking about, I haven't heard one single tweet, one video from a random dude on the street, one podcast, one person on TV say anything negative about Kyle Pitts.
Kyle
Pitts is a Hall of Famer.
Already.
He is the best tight end talent-wise people have ever seen. He does look spectacular.
Spectacular. The film and the measurables, like it's like, what are we watching here?
I've never seen anything like this, bro. Not one person has said anything negative about anything. His teeth are perfect. Haircut's on point. He runs the best routes. He got the best hands. He goes up against anybody. Put him up against Deion Sanders. Kyle Pitts wins.
Yeah. Yep, Kyle Pitts.
Yo, I've never seen anything
water
like
into wine.
Yo.
What do you need, man? It's Kyle Pitts. So yeah, that's another reason why I want to see it, because of how much we've just been hearing. It's like, I feel like this dude needs to come out and play lights out. But at the same time, it's almost like you look at it, it's just like, why won't this work? Unless he's an idiot, or he doesn't care. Which I've seen the interviews. He plays the part too.
Intelligent.
Like I'm all in, man. And again, I think you're going to a good situation because you're not going to be sitting there bullshitting with a quarterback who doesn't know what's going on, and a quarterback who's used tight ends. I mean, if you look at the Atlanta Falcons' success, it's always been with a tight end, whether it be Tony Gonzalez, was a Hooper, different guys that they've had in there playing tight end position. So I think Matt Ryan's going to use him well, and I just hope that I want to see it. See it. Who's next?
Excited. I'm excited.
If you don't got anybody, I got someone.
No, I was gonna say I really want to see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow because they're back. Chase. And I know I'm naming all the big dudes, but I don't really care because that's what I want to see.
An offensive lineman.
I agree, but I do want to see him and Chase because they know each other. That's like the homie coming back. Like, oh, what's up, baby? We don't have
Jalen Waddle and Tua.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I know this dude. I know what he's gonna do. I know what he's capable of. So I'm excited to see that.
Yep.
I'm excited to see Devontae Smith because I don't want to hear about him being too little and all that.
Playing against the same guys he's gonna be playing
same fucking size he was last year, and he won the Heisman, and no one could stop him.
Yeah, so and against SEC defenders who I saw a lot of them get drafted in the first round.
Yeah,
on Thursday.
And I understand the NFL is different, and Jalen Ramsey is different. Physically, speed, all that. I get it. But from what I could tell, this dude gets separation, gets off the line, does what he pleases.
He's not going over the middle. This isn't fucking Wes Welker. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not sending him through traffic. Yeah. He's gonna get free and go. Watch the film on the fucking championship game. He was unguardable. Could not guard him.
Yo, unguardable.
Unguardable. The whole time we're like, is anybody gonna pick this guy up? Nope.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you this. Mac Jones was putting it on his ass.
Every time.
Yo, Mac Jones wasn't missing him, bro.
Every time.
I'm talking about in stride, all that.
Every time.
Yeah. Who's your other one?
So I got one because I feel like, they need to help my boy out with an offensive weapon. And I watched some film on this guy. You don't normally think about wide receivers from the University of Minnesota, but Rashad Bateman out to the Baltimore Ravens. Just looks like a good receiver. And
Lamar
I think
needed him.
you just need to put Lamar with some good receivers, try to spice up that offense a bit. Again, when you just watch the film, this dude gets good separation, looks like he's got some good speed, just plays the position well. You know, kind of when you watch a receiver, you're like, yo, this guy, yeah, he's just going to be a good receiver. Love it.
And
get him some weapons,
Bears,
man.
The tape that I saw on him, he reminded me of like an Allen Robinson type at
Bateman.
Yeah, at Penn State. So I can rock with it.
Take it, yeah. That's if he turns out to be Allen Robinson, Lamar Jackson's doing backflips. So yeah, that's a great receiver. Those guys, yeah, I really like that guy. So I'm happy. I like the thought process behind it too. Like, yo, no more excuses. Let's get Lamar some guys who can add some explosion. And the last guy for me, and you kind of hit it on it already. Yo, I love the Mac Jones pick for so many reasons. For the Patriots, I love that they didn't have to move up to get him. It's not even that I love Mac Jones. I think he can play. I think if he's decent, yo, you just gave Bill Belichick a quarterback on a rookie contract. And if he's decent and can play,
and he just spent $50 million.
And exactly. So now none of those contracts, if Mac Jones can play, awesome. You don't have to worry about restructuring none of those deals. You spend all this money. Those guys can stay for a few years. If he learns behind Cam for a year, great. I think Cam is a perfect mentor for him. Cam's a positive dude who works hard, shows up to practice, great for his teammates, right? I think that's why, if you listen to the reports, that's why Bill brought him back. Bill loved coaching Cam Newton, thought he was a positive presence in the locker room, loved his work ethic, right? So I don't think Cam's going to come in there and make it difficult for Mac, right? Cam saw what it was like being at the end and almost not being in the league, right? So like he's going to come in there and he's going to make that situation good. You don't want reports coming out that Cam was an asshole and then he gets cut. He never gets another job again. So if I'm going to mentor this dude and Bill says I'm going to play until Mac is better than me, that's fine. And I believe Belichick when he says that. Belichick's not going to come out there and be like, well, we drafted a guy at 15th. He has to play. If he can't play, he's not going to play ever, right? Ever. If he can play, he will. And that's a bonus for everybody. And the fact that they didn't have to move up and he just fell to them at 15th and that's what you needed. Come on, man. Don't let this guy be good. And don't let Bill Belichick have a quarterback he's paying $2.5 million to for the next 4 years.
That's a good point. Yeah, man. It was a fun draft. It was interesting. A lot of stuff shaking, a lot of things moving. Yeah, man. That 5th-year option, like speak of the devil, Buffalo just picked up Josh Allen's 5th-year option.
Yeah, of course.
That's if you get in that situation with Matt.
You should pick up his 15th year option at this point.
Option.
Sign that man right now and keep it moving.
That boy cold.
He's a problem.
Yeah.
He's getting better. So where are you real quick? Yeah. Trey Lance. Where do you think
I don't know.
This
no
goes?
comment.
No comment.
I don't know.
Jury's still out.
We're gonna see. Yo, and
do you play him? Where do you keep Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't know.
I think I'm just not a big fan of it being blatantly obvious that you don't want the guy that you have and then running him out there to play. Mm-hmm. My thing would be, even if you have to be bad this year, you move Jimmy to get some picks for the next year and you go get him experience. Just like I want Justin Fields to get experience. That's my take. But yeah, is he going to be good? Who knows? I don't know, man. I'm excited to see him play too. And I think he's in a really good situation with a really good coach. I'm a big Kyle Shanahan fan. So if he can play, Kyle Shanahan's going to make him make an impact. So
if he sucks, does Shanahan lose his job?
No, I think. Well, I mean, maybe, but is he? But is he?
Clock will tick.
He could lose his job in San Francisco and he'll have another job anytime he wants.
Oh yeah, he's a candidate for never out of a job in the NFL.
Yes.
He has the look of he'll just keep finding. The
lowest he'll go is he'll be an offensive coordinator. Like the bottom of the barrel is an offensive coordinator.
Just like if Kingsbury gets fired this year, he's got a job. I think Kingsbury's got a job. It's got the look. Someone's going to bring him in the offensive coordinator role. Jason Garrett got a fucking job.
Yeah, that's true. That dude stinks. Yeah,
didn't
okay offensive coordinator.
But he didn't call plays in Dallas. Yeah, and then he got an offensive coordinator job. He literally didn't do anything. Do you run the defense? No. Do you run the offense? Nope. No. All right. He was like, remember that Hard Knocks with real quick Hugh Jackson when they took away his play calling duties and he was just there.
Around. Yeah, he just bent around. Yeah.
All right. Practice starts at 8.
Yeah. You guys got the day off. Practice starts at 7. Yeah. But speaking of quarterbacks, the NFL League MVP Aaron Rodgers. News breaks on draft night that he's officially wants out of Green Bay. He's done with it. Let's keep it moving. I'm out of here. I'm done with y'all. You haven't gotten me any help. I just came off my MVP year, and I got a new shorty. I can go run some Jeopardy if I want. Almost like fuck y'all. I don't even need y'all anyway. Like I play ball or not. Like I'm definitely not playing ball for y'all. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay?
Yes.
Won't
100%.
take another snap.
I think he's been done in Green Bay. I think
won't take another snap.
Will not take another snap. It's been that way for months too. Listen to all of his interviews.
Yeah.
All of his interviews.
It's out of my control, guys.
It's out of my control. It's a beautiful mystery. Like that's me. Him saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Let me get up out of here." He's ready to go.
Nick, what's one thing you cannot do to a grown man?
Disrespect him.
You cannot disrespect a grown man.
No.
You could do a lot of things. Both the female race is very resilient. A male is very resilient. But there's thing about a male, bro. If you disrespect him on up to a certain point where there's no coming back from that. He feels so disrespected. He's like, bro, I'm not playing for y'all. I don't care. I don't want to hear from LaFleur. Y'all can fly out to California on the private and come talk to me if y'all want. It's not changing my mind. I don't want to hear it. I'm going to go to the Derby. I'm coming off an MVP year. Y'all either move me or I'm not playing. I'll retire. I'll do whatever. And I think he's serious.
Dead ass.
And I also think you've seen how he does his family.
I was just his parents.
Yo, he doesn't care about that shit, bro.
Somebody who cuts off their parents, like you will never be his parent, Mark Murphy. You will never be his parent. Like if he's willing to say mom and dad, like I'm done. That's a man with conviction.
Brothers,
hard-headed brother, everybody. I don't want to see none of y'all.
None of y'all, bro.
Yeah, look, he's a lone wolf.
You could do a lot of things to your girlfriend. You could fuck up here and there. Eventually, she's going to feel disrespected and she's going to bounce.
Yep.
With males, cats will deal with a lot of shit, won't say nothing. Like, okay, I see you, whatever. To a certain point, it's like, nah, man, I'm not rocking with you. Period, point blank. I don't care about $20 million. I don't care about the Packer fans. I gave y'all exactly what I needed. Every time I needed some help on, y'all didn't give it to me. Y'all disrespected me with this Jordan Love situation. Blatant disrespect. You spit in my face. You draft this dude in the first round. I have to be around this dude. All that is nonsense.
And he doesn't even dress.
So that's it. That's why
you really just pissed on a first round pick and when I really needed some help on either side of the ball. Even if you fucking draft a defensive tackle, fine. The guy, is he gonna play 16 games?
Yeah, shout out Drew in the comments. I was just thinking about this too. And I also think he does see what Tom is doing. He's like, y'all are bullshitting me right now.
And Tom showed him it can be done. Hey, look, man, you've been the same franchise for 15 plus years and you want to leave? You can do that, man. Like, you need to understand your worth. Tom, and who did Tom see it from? Braun and them boys? Hey, you thought this shit wasn't going to trickle over?
I think more than anything, though, it's just like, man, maybe I actually can play at a super, super high level for another 3-4 more seasons.
Yeah. Easy.
And y'all are drafting people right last year?
Yeah.
Dog, I got sick. I got a whole nother deal on the conveyor belt coming, bro.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? First of all, y'all wasted years of my career with that clown Mike McCarthy.
Clown.
I carried him for years. And
clown.
I told y'all I was carrying him.
Anthony Lynn level game management from that guy.
You didn't want to listen. Yo, and I also think, too, y'all take the ball out my hand on fourth down. I'm the league MVP. I get to the playoffs. Y'all goofies are taking the ball out my hand. Like, enough is enough. I'm done with all this nonsense, bro. I've been here, he's been there, 16 years?
Oh, and then you come to me in the offseason, you say, hey, we need to restructure. We think you should give back some bread.
Bro.
And he said, wait, no.
Not.
I wanted more. I wanted y'all to fucking renew. You're talking restructure. I'm talking extension. I'm talking I need some new paper for what I just saw. Because, Pat Mahomes just got a $500 million. So what are y'all talking about here? You've now not given me talent, right? You hit on that. Bum-ass coach, hit on that. Drafted my replacement.
He's late.
No. I mean McCarthy.
Right.
I'm talking about McCarthy. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. For all the years after he won the Super Bowl, McCarthy clearly everybody knew he was a terrible head coach.
Yes.
You draft my replacement who doesn't even fucking dress, right? So not only you draft a guy for whatever reason when I need help, you draft my replacement, which is first off disrespectful. Then you draft a guy who can't even replace me, right? Then
I've been winning in spite of you guys for years now.
Well,
and I'm done with this shit.
And there was some practice squad or some wide receiver that he liked a couple of years ago that they let walk, who I don't think would have cost a lot of money for them to keep. You're not giving me personnel decisions, right? I don't get to say who comes. I don't get to say who we're drafting. I'm not involved in this. I'm not a partner.
This goes back all the way to Jordy Nelson when they cut him and didn't say anything to Aaron about that. Like all this stuff adds up to the point where it's like, man, I ain't rocking with you anymore, man. I'm out of here.
Right.
Cause a lot of us are Bears fans listening, but Jordy Nelson was Aaron Rodgers' dog.
Yeah.
They got rid of him, didn't tell him, just cut him, let him go. Like, all right, it's out of my control. I don't run the front office, but y'all not talking to me. Y'all not drafting who I need on the offensive end. Y'all drafted my replacement, and I feel like I got 5 more years to play. Nah, man.
And you're not treating me like a franchise quarterback. Your number one goal isn't to surround me with talent. It's to do your thing. And we got to compete. When you draft another quarterback, it's like, well, how many agendas do we got going on? Are we trying to win now, or are we doing moves for the future? Because with a franchise quarterback like me, everything that you should be doing should be fucking week 1. Help us in week 1, not week 1 in 2024. Everything should be geared towards helping us in week 1. When we play that first game, most likely against the fucking Bears, because we open up against them every single year, we should be ready week 1. All those guys that you draft should be available week 1, and available to help me this year.
And all I do is go to the NFC Championship.
Every year. I win this fucking shitty-ass division every single year. The Bears might get hot one year. The Vikings might get hot one year. The Lions never get hot. I win this division. I'll get in the playoffs every year. If you give me what I need, I can get you a little bit further. So, yeah, you're 100% right, man. They've disrespected him.
They did. That's the one thing you don't do.
Yeah, they haven't communicated well, and he sees other quarterbacks controlling their fate, whether through money or through influence. Tom said, hey, look, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm not coming back. Fuck y'all. I don't want to play for this dude. I don't care. And that was to Bill Belichick, not to Mike McCarthy and Mark Murphy. What have y'all done? Honestly, like, what have y'all done? Team doesn't even have a fucking owner, so there's no owner I can go fucking talk to. Well, I talk to a board. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I can talk to the park district to figure out if I want something done in this fucking town. How does this work? What, shareholder? Like, come on, man. This is fucking ridiculous. I think that hurts the situation. Because if you had a good owner, they'd step in and be like, hey, whoa. You're fired. You're fired. First of all, Aaron, come over to the crib. Let's smoke a cigar and let's figure this out.
Where could he go?
I mean, they're talking Denver. Anywhere that has a good. If I'm him, I'm like, I want a good defense, and I want somebody to throw the ball to. I'll go to
Denver.
Oakland. I'll go to Denver. Got D.
Have you seen Denver's corners?
No, it was Roby in them,
bro. Roby.
Yeah.
Kyle Fuller, remember him?
Oh yeah, Kyle Fuller's up there too. And Aaron Rodgers knows him. And
they just drafted. Surtain.
Yeah. So yeah, we got D, and they got Vic calling the D over there.
Shout out Vic.
So I'll go play for those boys, man. I'll go play over there.
We're saying Vic.
Oh,
you're talking about Vic Fangio.
Yeah.
Vic and Vaughn. Yeah.
Vic and Vaughn and all the boys. Over there would be nice. Oakland, because Gruden does not fuck with his quarterback. We know that.
Oakland would be
Oakland. Wow, disrespect. Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, Las Vegas. I'm gonna tell you this. Aaron Rodgers go over there. Darren Waller gonna have 25 touchdowns.
25 easy. What? Easy.
That man is a problem.
He had like 110 catches last year. Yeah, he's crazy.
He like a poor man Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle Pitts is like twice as good.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts like 3 times better than Darren Waller.
Shut up, Kyle Pitts. Hey, where are we gonna be saying when Kyle Pitts has like 10 touchdowns through 6 games next year?
Yeah, and he's just like sunning everybody.
Just
moving people out of the way.
This is easy. But no, so he could go there. I don't think he's going anywhere in the NFC. So I think it's all AFC.
Just because they wouldn't trade him that way?
There's no way. You can't trade him to ever have to play him again. I know there's a team that we're probably missing. Watch Belichick come up and grab his ass. That might be too much ego for Belichick, though.
He's not going to. He wouldn't go there just because of the whole. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. That would be an interesting situation. And I haven't heard anything about this Deshaun Watson shit, and this shit just fell off the face of the
very quiet.
Yeah, like
and he ain't demanded a trade in a few weeks either.
Eerily quiet. So
he's like, maybe I'll come back and play for the Texans because it's real hot anywhere else.
It's almost like Denver's the only place he could go.
Yeah, Denver makes the most, and they got receivers out there. They got Jerry Jeudy. They got a couple boys out there that can catch some passes. Who's their running back? Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay's nice.
Yeah.
They
decent.
Got man, Denver, Las Vegas. I mean, that's really it in the AFC. Like Miami, no. Maybe though.
They would trade Tua if they would make that trade. That'd be a great move for the Packers if you can get Tua back for Aaron Rodgers. Because he's not coming back. So like you need to understand that he's not coming back. Like again, we talk. The guy
let me ask you this. What do you do as the Packers? Like, do you just call us bluff, or do you just say, okay, fold, and just try to go get just a boatload of value for him now?
The thing that was interesting is they were talking about today. Like one of the reasons that the Packers could be kind of reluctant to trade him is the precedent that would set around the league, and they don't necessarily want to be the ones that start that as far as these quarterbacks getting disgruntled and working their way out, so it doesn't become the NBA because you know how the NFL is. That's the last thing they want is players having that much power. So I don't know.
Yeah, I would say this to that. How many Aaron Rodgers are running around the league?
True. And how many guys?
You don't walk in my office like you Aaron Rodgers. Get out of here with that.
Well, and you have to be old enough to have major money and like,
bro,
it's
get
true.
out of here with that. That's you know what I mean? So that's what I would say to that.
But it doesn't matter. The threat of players having power is something the NFL doesn't even want. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're super nervous about it. But regardless, I mean, you have to. I feel like you have to make that move. I don't know what you're going to try to do. I don't think he's going to change his mind. I think once the report came out to Schefter, right? Everything else was rumblings and him being kind of cryptic in interviews. Once Schefter's coming out saying Aaron Rodgers is telling folks he doesn't want to come back, it's over with. You got to get into move mode. You can't fuck around.
I'll say this. That same shit happened with Russell Wilson, and all of a sudden that shit is dead, and that shit's dusted, and he's good in Seattle all of a sudden.
But I don't think he ever demanded a trade. He was just like, y'all aren't taking care of me, and like I think he was just kind of. His always seemed more to me like
I don't know, bro. Again, do you remember at the peak?
And we read that story, and there was some disrespect, but it wasn't this level of disrespect. Like you said, this is deep disrespect, where it's like you can point to a pattern of disrespect from Green Bay and the Pack and the Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like there is a pattern history of disrespect, and all that's bubbling. For Russ, it's just like, man, like last couple of years been rough. Y'all aren't protecting me. Like. Yeah, I want to get the fuck up out of here and go do something else. But at the same time, he's not going to Schefter or going to team sources who he knows are going to go to Schefter, right? Like, this is very calculated by Rodgers.
Right.
Short of him going on McAfee's show and being like, yeah, I want these boys to trade me. Like, this is essentially what he's doing right now. This is a formal trade request from Aaron Rodgers.
Fair.
Don't make me make this shit get ugly.
Right. Yeah, don't call my bluff on this.
Don't call my bluff on this, man. Y'all don't want to see this. I will go fucking host Jeopardy. I will go do some other shit. I will do whatever.
How funny would it be if he wrote the Packers a check for 20, then picked up 20 from Jeopardy?
Easy. And
then just washed it and then came back the next year.
He'll make his 20 back. Is that what it's? He owes him 20 million, right?
I think he would owe him somewhere around $20 million if he decided to retire.
That's great. Take it.
So, all right. Aaron Rodgers, that would be it'd be a turn of the guard if all of a sudden Justin Fields shows up and he's solid, and then Rodgers is gone. We'd have a whole new division.
It's a best case scenario for us.
And if we get Justin Fields, the Lions lose Stafford, and the Packers lose Rodgers.
There's no quarterbacks in the division.
Sign me up.
Repeat. No quarterbacks in the division. Don't tell me about your boy over there in Minnesota, who I thought they were crazy. You talk about a team that I thought was crazy for not moving up to get Fields was Minnesota.
Yeah.
You can't have Cousins be your primary option for the next 2 or 3 years. Like we've seen this movie a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Someone who was it the other? Oh, you see what RG3 said?
Yeah, he said he's been collecting checks for a
He
minute.
says, he goes, he's been collecting checks going 7-9 every year.
Yeah, and he said it so casually.
It was so
so funny.
It's like Kirk's been over there collecting checks going 7-9 every year.
So,
Like, he still doesn't fuck with that dude at all.
Yeah, he don't fucking care.
That was so great. Yo, shout out RG3, man.
They said Kellen Mond time. I'm not a Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond,
I actually watched him at Texas A&M, and I thought he was whack.
Yeah, he's
at
not that
Texas
great.
A&M. So
he never really got any better. Yeah, no, they should have definitely made a move. 7-9 collecting checks. That's
all
great.
Right. Let's move over, close it out with some NBA talk, man. Let's start with Russell Wilson, man, or Russell Westbrook, excuse me. The guy has averaged a triple-double. Russell Westbrook, 4 of the last 5 seasons, full years, he's averaged a triple-double. 3 with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He had a down year playing with James and Co. in Houston.
A down year, aka not averaging a triple-double. I think he still averaged 28, 8, and 8, but yeah.
And then he's back to averaging a triple-double now with the Washington Wizards. He had 24 dimes and 24 boards last night.
The surging Washington Wizards. I think they've won like 8 of 10 and 12 or 14 or some shit like that. I don't know what it is.
That Bertans magic.
That was.
Give me your thoughts on Russell Westbrook. Well, actually, we'll start it here. Like I just said, Russell Westbrook officially made it official that if he goes out and scores 5, 5, and 5 the rest of the year, he'll still average a triple-double. He had 24 dimes last night, 21 boards. It's official. He will have his 4th season in 5 averaging a triple-double. Here, and then if you follow Big Nick the Quick on Twitter, you should do that either way. Nick retweeted. Scott Brooks came out and said he thinks that Russell Westbrook is the second. He's the second best point guard of all time behind Magic Johnson. I'm gonna play a clip from Stephen A. Smith and his thoughts, and then we'll get into it. Here's Stephen A. on Scott Brooks saying Russell Westbrook is the second best point guard of all time behind Magic Johnson.
To Westbrook for a second. Now I'm gonna focus on you. Then why the hell didn't you win with him? You had KD, you had Russ, you had Ibaka, you had Reggie Jackson, you had James Harden. Why the hell didn't you win? Now, I know you ran into LeBron James, but you had them for more than 1 year. You only got to the finals once. You won 62% of your games while you were in Oklahoma City with that bomb squad. Why wasn't it more than that, Scott Brooks? And now you in the nation's capital, you winning 46% of your games. If Russell Westbrook, and we're not questioning his greatness, I'm just being rhetorical here, being facetious, I'm sorry. I'm not questioning his greatness at all. I'm saying if Russell Westbrook is all those things, and I believe he is, then am I not entitled to look at you, Scott Brooks, and say, how come you ain't winning more games? Because you got the second greatest point guard in the history of the game, according to you. We all know Bradley Beal is big time. By the way, Hachimura, Bryant, Bertans, and all of these brothers. I like what I'm seeing from the Wizards.
Paul George, once upon a time, Chris Paul.
I like what I'm seeing from the Wizards. I like them. They're a young squad on the come up. I think they got a lot of potential. How come you ain't winning, Scott Brooks?
All right.
People need to be careful what they say, because at some point in time when we're looking at the players, we got coaches out here that are underachieving and get paid and having tenure and stuff like that. How come we can't hold you accountable then if it's all that? Go ahead, Max.
Yo, why he fried Scotty?
Yeah, he just fried
like
Scotty Brooks for no real reason.
Scott fried him crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with all that. I feel like Scott Brooks had a lot of success with that. You're not mentioning that these guys. Yeah, there was a super young team, and this is as these guys were kind of on the ascent. I get Durant ended up winning MVP, and Russ became who he became, but it's not like you had all 3 of these guys at their peak or even at like the top of their, whatever. So I don't necessarily put that on Brooks. I don't think Scott Brooks is a great coach. I for the life of me don't understand why this Wizards team has been. It took them this long to get going when your top 2 guys are that good. So I think he should definitely be held accountable for what happened in Washington.
But you think it's blasphemy that Scott Brooks would call him the second best point guard?
Well, I just don't think he's the second best. When I think of Russell Westbrook, I don't think of second best point guard of all time.
This kind of
like I get what he's trying to say.
We had the other day.
I get what he's trying to say as far, like the Chris Paul versus
just like
whoever.
the guard versus the position. It's like,
I get what he's trying to say in that, like, it's gotten to a point where, like, we take Russell Westbrook's triple doubles for granted. The fact that he has so many, averaged 4 out of the last 5 seasons of triple double. I saw a stat the other day. They've also won 75% of the games in which he's had a triple double. So it's not like he's going out there collecting meaningless triple doubles. That's a really powerful stat. 75% of the games in which he's had a triple double, his team has won. So again, they're not just meaningless, stat filling. So to that point, I get it. Like, you want to make these outlandish statements so that Russ is back in the conversation. And again, you're giving him his proper respect. And I think we really do need to give Westbrook his flowers. Again, I think the narrative is flipped on him so much to where we just don't appreciate what he's out there doing.
Players of all time.
Yeah, and in an era where, guys are getting killed for load management and not necessarily taking every regular season game seriously, there's not a NBA fan anywhere who is paid money to watch Russell Westbrook that walks out of that arena and is like, yeah, I didn't get my money's worth, right? Like, first off, if he's healthy, he's playing. He's going to play big minutes, and he's going to put on a show, and he's going to play balls to the wall. So, like, when we talk about, like, oh, it's for the fans, and the fans, take out a family of 4 of their hard-earned money and all that shit that we like to talk about. Yo, this is a guy who is worth the price of admission every single night. You're getting your money's worth. If I'm taking my kid to a game with Russell Westbrook, again, I'm not going to walk out there and be like, oh, man, this guy just mailed it in. He's not trying. He doesn't care. So I think that matters, man. Like, I think we've gotten to the point, man, where it's like, man, I don't know the right way to say this. Like, championships absolutely fucking matter, right? But, man, it's become so much so that if you don't have one, you're shit. Can't win with you. Look, only one team wins every year, right? Every 365 days, you have one winner. In between that, a lot happens, and a lot of it matters, and a lot of it matters towards people's legacies. So if you're just going to hold the fact that he hasn't won a championship and all that, Russell Westbrook's in the playoffs every year. His teams do well. He's played in NBA finals. He goes hard, right? Does he have some flaws as a player? Absolutely. Is he the best player in the NBA? No, right? Is he one of the better players in the NBA? For sure, right? Has he absolutely – can you rewrite the last 15 years of the NBA without talking about Russell Westbrook? No, you cannot, right? You cannot. So I get where Brooks is coming from as far as making these wild-ass statements. I think he just wants people to understand, like, yo, that's how good this dude is. But when we're talking about point guards and like who's the best and all that, like, nah, man, you can't give me Russell Westbrook.
Only thing you could say about Russell Westbrook is he can't shoot the 3. Fine.
And he shoots it too much.
And he shoots it too much. That's the only thing he can't
statistically do. The worst high-volume shooter in NBA history. Listen
to these numbers. When he won the MVP in 2016-17, this is his first year he averaged a triple-double. He averaged 32 points, 10 assists, 11 rebounds. The next year, he averaged a triple-double again. He averaged 25 points, 10 assists, 10 rebounds. The next year, 23, 11, and 11. Then he went to Houston. And then this year, he's averaging 22, 11, and 11. There was a time where getting a triple-double was – I just feel like it was such a big deal. And he's completely flipped that shit. Him and James Harden have flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
It's insane to even think
that where we take it for granted.
Yeah, that someone can average 4 out of 5 seasons and average triple-double. We're going to look back on that in history and be like, that is some insane shit that Russell was doing.
And I think all Brooks is doing right now is making sure that we look at it right now and be like, yo, what he's doing is crazy. Because that's his guy. He had him since day one, so he's going to ride for him. But it is cap.
That he's the number 2 of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like almost in a different category. I can't put him in like the same point guard conversation as like
Chris Paul,
Stockton, or Chris Paul. They're like completely different people.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting conversation because when I think of Russell Westbrook, I don't think of a point guard. I think of just a ball dominant guard. That's all that comes to mind.
A guard.
Yeah, I think of a guy that handles the rock.
He handles the rock. Yeah,
and then I guess if that makes him a point guard, then I guess that's what it is. But
wonderful. Yeah,
he's a different dude in a different category. Shout out Russell Westbrook, MVP. No one will take that from him. Always kept it 100. Always stayed true to himself. I love Russell Westbrook.
And right now they're in 10th in that playoff play-in game, so they would end up playing Indiana. Look, dude, they're better than Indiana. Like I think if when you look at those top two of Beal and Westbrook on a good game, I mean, I don't, as shitty as that team is overall, if they've been this whole year, I don't want to really play against them for 7 games if it gets to that. So like that matters too, right? Like they're kind of lurking in that spot. Like, look, Boston versus Washington. We've been talking about the Celtics all year. You don't get caught slipping against guys like that because Russ ain't gonna be sleeping. So I mean, let's see what happens. So I think we do not rate Russell Westbrook properly for what he does do, especially when we love to talk about other guys' stats. Like, oh, Luka's so close to a triple double. It's like, well, why is a triple double from Luka so good, but not from Russell Westbrook? Right. Yeah, so I think
we're spoiled on.
He just rubs people the wrong way for whatever reason, and people now are just like, he could average a quadruple double, and we're not even talking about it. So
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit of NBA before we get out of here. I need your thoughts on the Lakers and LeBron. I need your thoughts on the play-in.
Nobody likes to play in until you're playing in it.
Give me your final power rankings on the East and the West currently.
Quick
hitters.
I don't like to give LeBron slander because I think people do it too often, but I will on this. He needs to stop pouting about this play-in shit. You guys, this is how it's been all year. Players Association voted on it. If you didn't want a playoff game in the beginning of the year, we know that you get everything that you want in this league. So if you hated it in the beginning of the year and you would have voiced it, you could have vetoed that easy.
He wasn't worried about that shit.
Adam, no, I don't like this. No, it made sense. It made sense when the league showed you the revenue model behind it and hey, this is how we're going to recoup some of this COVID money so y'all ain't taking haircuts on your paychecks next year. So the league need to do this. The league has to make money. The league has to make these games at the end of the year interesting. The league has to bring up TV ratings. You have to get sponsors involved. If this brings money to the league, great. Also, hey, if y'all are good enough, then just win the fucking game. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hear LeBron complain about this at all. So I think that he's pouting. I think he needs to just go ahead, get healthy, win some ball games, and the Lakers shouldn't even be in this position.
Also, really quick for everybody listening, I'll give you a quick tutorial on this play-in tournament. So it's 6 through 9. Get in the play-in tournament. 6 and 7 play each other. 7, 8 play each other. 6 and 7 play each other. 8 and 9 play each other. Excuse me. If the winner of the 6-7 game, that's what they're calling it. They're calling it the 6-7 game. The winner of the 6-7 game is in the playoffs. Automatically done. They're in. Winner of the 6-7 is in. The loser of the 6-7 game then plays the winner of the 8-9 game. So the 8-9 folks have to win 2 games against they're in the 8-9 game, and then they have to beat the loser of the 6-7. So the format is cool. I think it's interesting. If you're the 6 or 7, in short, if you're the 6 and 7, you have to win 1 to get in. If you're the 8 and 9, you got to win 2. That's it. Then you're in the playoffs. So I think it's interesting. I think it's been bringing a lot of excitement towards the end of the year. Quick, give me your top 3 power rankings from the West, and give me your top 3 power rankings from the East in order, starting with the East.
Oh man, let's go Brooklyn.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they're going to be tough to beat. Brooklyn, Philly, Milwaukee.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. And what about the West?
So tough out west, man. You can't deny the fact that Denver is 17-5 since the Gordon trade. I know they lost last night, but since Murray went down, what are they, 9-1 or 9-2 since Murray went down?
They're 9-2 now. Yeah, they lost.
Yeah. So I mean, and Jokic is playing out of his mind. So I'm gonna go Denver, Phoenix.
Denver number 1.
It's really dude. The West is so open, man, because there's flaws with each one of those teams.
It is open.
He's the best player right now, and that's almost where I'm going to. Is Kawhi back yet?
No, Kawhi's chilling.
He's chilling.
I think I don't know if he played the other night, but yeah, he'll be back.
Is the playoffs yet? No.
It's so tough because I'll give you this. It is tough to slot Denver. Where do you
really is? Yeah. No, you know what? I'll go Phoenix, Denver, Clippers. Not a
Phoenix,
Utah Jazz believer.
Utah Lakers.
Utah, yeah, Lakers. The Lakers are in the. LeBron's not healthy.
No.
And AD has looked sus since he's been back. He had a good game last night, but overall he's looked very sus.
Let me ask you this about AD really quick. Our boy who came on, Trayvon Black Trey, does NBA for The Athletic. Started Count the Ding. Shout out Trey. I heard him post a clip. He said he thinks Anthony Davis is a little bit of a diva now. Do you agree with that?
How so?
He didn't really go into details on that clip. I just heard the snippet, but he was like, "Yeah, Anthony Davis is a little bit of a diva now." So,
well, he's plugged in. So I mean, he doesn't say shit for the sake of saying shit, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about a dude who's plugged in like that and plugged in at the high levels. Maybe that's what's going on behind the scenes. He came out to the Lakers, got some respect, got his ring, running with Bron. Bron showed him how to move different. I will tell you something interesting. My boy told me this weekend. Essentially, he knows some folks that have played with Bron, and when Bron shows up, Bron kind of shows folks how to move different.
I believe that.
Like folks are one way, Bron shows up. Bron shows you how to move, especially powerful individuals, right? Guys who can move a certain way. Right. Bron is going to assist you in moving in that direction. So it would not be surprised me if he took a guy like Adu, who was a star, but was playing in New Orleans, playing on shitty teams and not getting that kind of respect, brought him out to LA and said, hey, this is how you move. And how to some people that rubs him off as a diva because he's not LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, definitely wouldn't surprise me. But he doesn't say a lot, so it's hard to kind of gauge his personality. But yeah.
Yeah, stay locked on that.
Yeah, stay locked on that. Let's see.
Interesting.
It's LA, man.
How many games we got left? 5?
Yeah.
5 games left.
7 for some teams. 7-5. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 7 games left for a majority of the league. It's closing out quick. It should be interesting.
Give me your finals.
No, I can't do that right now. That's a disrespectful question. I'll give you my power rankings though. Yeah. I'll go. Give me Phoenix in the West. Say what you want, bro. They bust people's ass, and they've been playing the top comp, and they've been on their ass. So I trust CP. I think they're the number 1 team in the West currently. From all the betting lines and everything that I've been looking at and hearing, everyone thinks they're just going to get to the playoffs and essentially crumble.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
Which I don't get.
They've played well all year and haven't really had a bad stretch, and they have everything you want.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I think they're the best team in the West right now. I'm going to go Phoenix. I'm going to go the Clippers. Say what you want about Paul George. He's been going crazy. His shooting splits are through the roof. He said, we were laughing at him prior to the season saying he was going to be on his MVP season. He's had one of the best years of his career, no doubt.
For sure.
Kawhi will be back. They'll be back playing ball. I'll go Clippers.
Where is Kawhi? Is he hurt or is he chilling?
I'll go Jazz. I think he is hurt.
Okay.
And I'll go Jazz. I think the Jazz have had some lulls in the middle, but Connolly gets back. I think the Jazz are solid too. But then I got to go Lakers at 4 just because I've seen this movie before, and then all of a sudden motherfuckers are healthy and they're blowing people's doors off.
But it's just that time, man. Like if it's an 82-game season, you're talking about we had 20 more games. That's one thing.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm actually worried about the Lakers. I won't lie to you because Schroeder's out now too.
Yeah,
and that's a big loss.
I got Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee.
Philly and Brooklyn are interchangeable to me, depending on what night I'm watching.
Philly.
The Brooklyn's ability just to reel off points by 3 guys who it's hard. When's Harden come back?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Is he on a Rodman trip? It's like, hey, Steve, I need to go to Vegas for a few days.
No, another interesting thing. Yo, Steve, I got to go to Vegas.
Steve, I got to get out of here. This is crazy. The thotties need me.
The whole thing with Kyrie, this is his first Ramadan, so he hasn't been eating.
Oh, is he fasting?
So he's been playing on an empty stomach, not getting any water.
He's not the first athlete to do this.
Yeah, shout out to Dream Hakeem Olajuwon. I was reading about that, but Kyrie.
And there was that Vikings cornerback who would fast during training camp every year.
Yeah, seems to be very, very sluggish. But it's interesting, man. We'll see NBA coming up. It's closing out soon. Anything else you got for the people before we get up out of here?
No, man. I think that's it, man. Let's. Get well soon. Get well soon, Lewis Robert, man. You know what I'm saying, man. White Sox need to get healthy, man. We're just hitting stride now. The boys are down, man. Get well soon, Eloy. It's all good. TA still representing. How about them Cubbies?
The White Sox.
How about them Cubbies?
Dude, they're on right now, I believe.
Bench clearing brawl the other day.
I don't know that. Yo, they love to clear the benches out.
They sure do.
Contreras and them boys,
Yeah.
they be ready to scrap all the time. So shout out those boys. But that's it, man. For Big Nick the Quick, I am your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, man. YouTube, iTunes, you know the deal. Make sure you follow me at No Ketchup Shy on Twitter. Follow Big Nick the Quick at the Quick 420. No. What is it? At the Quick.
Nick the Quick 1029.
1029. Shout out Jeezy.
Yeah.
For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. No Ketchup Sports Talk via Chicago. We out of here. Much love.